the 6th of December, and we at the O2N Foundation are finally going to premiere a project that is near and dear to my heart. I feel it brings together so many of the dimensions of the brand TNT, and may I even say brand Caribbean. It's about storytelling, it's about music, it's about destination, it's about creativity, it's about fashion. We are coming together today to celebrate style at O2N Style 2020. Over the past 2 years of producing O2N Style, we've created some major fashion exhibitions and presentations, along with compelling creative conversation, panel discussions to full houses at O2 Park in Chagaramas and at the Hyatt Regency in Port of Spain. However, this year, as we were about to launch our third installment of O2N Style, the pandemic struck and we had to reimagine our way forward towards a new horizon. First, we had a very inspiring and pioneering virtual panel discussion with luminaries of creative industry, live from the Hyatt Regency in July. And now we are taking Défilé de Mode and looking at it through the lens of the camera to come up with a captivating capsule to share Caribbean creativity internationally for all to appreciate. So that is why we are here today. And I'm joined on my set by legendary Caribbean fashion designer Heather Jones, uber fashion stylist Crystal Ivy, and cutting-edge designer Rian Romani. I also have in the virtual space several contributing creators to this project who will join to tell their stories. Welcome everyone to Mouth Open Tory Jump Out, the world premiere. And before I go any further, I would like to invite our chair and founder of the O2N Foundation to join us from abroad. She is Mrs. Nicole Dyer Griffith. Hello, Nicole, are you there? We want to hear from you.
You know, Richard, I am so very excited that we have reached this journey. You know, it has been some time. When we started planning for O2N Style 3, we had so many plans. And as you would have mentioned when we did the creative conversations, that we had to move from an on-site model to an online model. And, you know, we're here now. I am in Northern Ireland, and we started doing this online production so many months ago. You know, it seems really surreal almost, and almost, you know, in foresight mode that we would have designed to get that done. And now we're at the stage where we're having the world premiere of this production. I am really, truly excited. And I'm so happy that everybody bought into the process and bought into the understanding of what we wanted to do. So, you know, I really look forward to this, and I look forward to hearing more so the stories of some of the people who we included as part of the project, and to see how it all ties in together to Mouth Open Tory Jump Out.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I love your colors, darling. You're missing only a little poinsettia to fully complement your look. You didn't find the green and the red. Well, let's start here now with a first lady of fashion, a true icon, Miss Heather Jones of the Heather Jones International. She's an International Pret-a-Porter Style Award recipient at Fashion Week of the Americas in Miami, a Caribbean Grandmaster Fashion Design Awardee at Caribbean Fashion Week in Jamaica, and right here in Trinidad and Tobago, the national title of a Shakonia Gold Medal. Some accomplishments there, Heather. Glad to have you. You know, we go way, way back. You was telling us a story before we came on set, how you came to a show when you were young, and I was young as well, and I was modeling in a show, and you came up to me, and you were kind of fascinated, and then I went on to say I used to come and look at you at the drag mall, and Stephen also used to come down and spend time with you. Tell me the essence of Heather Jones. How Heather Jones designs. Why she designs. What are her colors? What are her inspirations?
What inspires Heather Jones? The rhythm, the passion, the movement, the warmth of the Caribbean. Our people. When I look at a woman or any woman walking down the road, we walk with a passion. We talk with a song. Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful. So many colors, the carnival, the beat of the drum, my culture.
Yeah. And that's what I feel fashion really is, eh? Yes.
There's something inside of me that is so beautiful. It never stops flowing. That beauty never stops flowing. It's my drug. when challenges come in life, I go inside of myself and spend time in that beautiful me. So
Oh,
it's
dear.
really, really beautiful. It's like from the depths of my soul, like a fountain. Every day I think, well, oh God, it's done. It now,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So it's really, really gorgeous.
So it's renewing itself all the time.
Yes, yes.
So tell me, Heather, you know we are in a pandemic, and
Yes.
2020 is going to be known historically for this trying time. How were you able to survive inside of this and keep that joy, that essence?
Richard, it is really, really challenging. It was challenging and it is still very challenging. And every day it gets, as the type of business we are into, there is no business walking through the door. So we are making face masks. We are trying to complete stuff that we had to do from before. And I am taking this time, working on a new collection, trying to use whatever inspiration comes my way to build on this collection, and that's what I'm doing. And it's a lot.
And things happen organically because, you know, we were talking and you know what we planning to do. We're not sharing it here,
No,
but
not
it's
yet.
an organic something that just happened. And I think that it really needs creatives to come together sometime and then things just happen.
Yeah.
So how you see yourself moving forward? How you see yourself in the future? What is Heather Jones' next step?
Well, Heather Jones' next step, we have to go full digital. We have to start selling online. We have to create stock and marketing. Marketing is everything. And selling online and finding new product to bring to the market, because most of us are spending time at home, or maybe more relaxed outfit, more relaxed fittings, more going to people's home to meet with them, to work with them from there. You know, I do interior decorating. This Christmas, what I started doing this Christmas is you could rent a tree fully decorated. Come at me, pick up a decorated tree.
A customized tree.
Yes,
that's great.
Yes. I can come and change your spaces. So I'm just extending my creative genius into many different areas. The home, the Christmas, wherever.
So it's diversification. Everybody has to diversify. That's really what it is.
I believe in blooming where I'm planted, and right now I planted in.
Love that. And we would close with that for now. Bloom where you're planted. You hear? That is just like mouth open, Tory jump out. All right. Thank you so much, Heather. You all know Dion Batiste?
Yes. We do.
Okay, well, we have Dion standing by to join us. He served in several capacities in our upcoming video. Dion, are you there? Everybody here seems to know you. How about you telling us a little bit about yourself? Dion?
Hi, I'm Dion Batiste. I'm glad to be here for this production, Mouth Open, Tory Jump Out. I'm a model, dancer, choreographer, singer, overall performer. I've been performing for the last, let's say, 30 years. I have known Richard at the age of about, let's say, 18, 19. That's when I moved up to Port of Spain because I'm originally from Point Porter. And from there, I was a dancer back then, but I got into modeling. And from there, I started off at mannequins training with Richard Young. And from there, we just kept on going. I've traveled all over the Caribbean with Richard Young, doing fashion shows and dance as well. Dealing with Richard and dealing with, in terms of the fashion and stuff, I've grown to learn a lot from him. And in fact, I've been actually helping out other people now, dancing and producing fashion shows as well. I've helped one of my friends named Patterson Nelson in New York for some of his fashion shows, his personal fashion shows. And it's all because of training under Richard Young. Yeah, so going back to Mouth Open, Tory Jump Out, when Richard called about the idea of having dance within this fashion shoot, to me it was not a surprise because because of the nature of it and what he wanted, going back to the roots, going back to that Amerindian, that African, that earthliness, because of that's where we came from. So I try to. Well, he also talked about getting various different races, because it's Trinidad we are dealing with. So I got Jamal Walker representing the African. I got Zidane, East Indian, and I got a guy named Joey, Josiah. He's more, he's very red, so he could come out under the Amerindian tribe. And then there was myself. So I kind of represented everybody. Coming up with the choreography was very easy because this was supposed to be more organic. So actually being down in Maruga by the river and by where the river meets the sea. Very spiritual for me as well. So it was very easy. I think we kind of came up with the choreography on the spot. The choreography was done on the spot. So forwarding after that now for 2021, myself as a creative, I want to take up that mantle as well and do kind of similar what Richard is doing, do different shoots at different locations, still showing our culture and producing our work so that everyone in the world could see what Trinidad has.
Thanks, Dion. And let's come back to set now and move to my next person on set here, Crystal Ivy. Crystal has styled at New York Fashion Week. Would you believe that? She has emerged as one of Trinidad and Tobago's most consistent and outstanding stylists. She has worked with me on many a fashion program, and I am thrilled to have her today, and that she was so eager to jump on to help style and work on this video presentation. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Richard.
It's always so good to have you. Tell our viewers right up front, what is styling? Because people hear that word and they don't understand that it's a whole part of the fashion business. So tell us what a stylist does.
The role of a stylist, really, I feel as if we're there, if it's a designer, we're there to help the creative vision designer wants with their collection. So we're there from the beginning. I usually like to be there from the beginning, where they have this collection, they say, okay, this is what I want it to look like, and then we're there with them through, production and getting the accessories, the clothes, the models and everything. We're there to help the vision of the designer. We're there to, when it comes to magazines and stuff like that, we're there to help with the making a story, basically. When you see covers on a magazine, that's basically what stylists do. We're there for magazines, production, fashion shows, all sorts of things. But I really like to say that we basically make people look good. That's what our job really is. It's to help someone's vision come alive.
Right. So sometimes it might mean color coordination,
yes,
accessory placement,
yes,
and all of those other intrinsic things that sometimes people leave out.
Yes.
And what to make something pop to keep the story in place.
Yes.
All right. So how have you been? Because COVID shake up everybody life. What you doing as a stylist in a pandemic space? How did you operate? What did you do?
To be honest, I actually took some rest. I'm not going to lie, I did take some rest because I am always 24/7, 7 days a week. I am always working, and I felt like I needed that sort of rest. But actually, I have gotten into the space of vintage clothing.
Okay.
So I am now collecting really great pieces from the 80s, 70s, 60s, and I sell them.
Oh, wonderful. And how was it working on the shoot?
It was great. I have to say that I think every single time I work with you, there's always some sort of fun, some sort of action that's always happening and always going on. I feel as if, we have that connection and that vision. I understand where you want to go and what you want to do. And I feel as if, like, every time we get into a project, it's always fun. It's always great. It's always like I love the teamwork basically that we have.
And there's something always evolving in it.
Yes.
So it's not set in stone.
Yes.
So we grow with it, and that's what keeps us energized. And so
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
I love
right.
it.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Christelle. I think people are enlightened about what a stylist is. Next, we have online Sheldon Warner, who has become a staple in the national fashion landscape over the last decade, offering a distinctive textile art. I consider him an artist designer, and his brand Art with Attitude speaks for itself. Sheldon, is he on? Sheldon, welcome.
Hi everybody, how are you going? I'm very happy to be part of the project. My brand, SM Warner Art with Attitude, it's known for hand-painted clothing for women and men. We also carry a hand-painted tableware and the acrylics on canvas. The emphasis really is to create that one-of-a-kind item for our clients, to create that piece that makes a statement, to create that item that someone will be so happy to wear when they go into an event. For us, when it came to COVID, our pivot would have been, instead of offering these items as in clothing and tableware and so on, given that there was a need to provide this accessory, which I call it an accessory, which provided safety, which provided functionality, and we wanted to create an item which gave me the statement, because my clients are all about that, which we created our art mask, which was the facial cloth mask, which we produced during this time. And it's just to give the client that feel of comfort, that feel of normalcy, that feel of what they're accustomed to. And my client was all about wearing that one-of-a-kind piece. So for us, the pivot for us would have been to go into that cloth mask, which is what you would have seen on the videos here. And to me, SM Warner is all about just making people feel special, making people feel comfortable within their skin, making people own their uniqueness, and making people feel that they are comfortable of doing what they wish to do and achieve when they walk in this statement. They feel comfortable in what they wear, they feel comfortable in statement, they feel comfortable in that one-of-a-kind piece that nobody else has in the world, and that's what we work towards. We work towards making our clients feel special and unique. So this is me just being happy to be part of the process and providing those hand-painted facial masks, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Because of the pandemic, we needed to have masks to document this pandemic period. So Sheldon's unique handcrafted art mask figured ingeniously. Thank you so much, Sheldon, for being with us. Next, I have one of my doo-doo darlings. She has been working with me, let's just say, for quite a while, because I don't want no carbon dating here. I think she has always understood storytelling to be an integral part of merchandising looks and brands. So much so, she has considered making marketing her career. She's a consummate fashion performer. Janice Price, you there, Janice? Let's say what you have to say.
Hi everybody. Oh gosh, so nice to see some of you. It's been a couple of months of 2020. It's been crazy. But so glad we were able to get this project off the ground. It started earlier this year. We had to do some tweaking to be able to get to this point. But it's a great project, and I hope everybody enjoys what they see. I always enjoy working with Richard. I've been working with Richard and in this industry for too many years to count. Let me not say how old I am, okay? Because in my mind, I'm still 20. The Caribbean and all that we have to offer is just so absolutely amazing. The fashion industry is it's just mind-blowing, just what our artists are capable of doing. Our designers are amazing, the looks are amazing, and we are just full of color and full of inspiration. I mean, there's everywhere you go in Trinidad and Tobago, there's something to inspire you, whether it's a tree or a branch or the ocean, the sun, the community of people that you encounter. I mean, the man selling coconut water or snow cone. I enjoyed my snow cones on that shoot, by the way. So Yeah, it's just been such a joy, and I'm so glad that we're finding creative ways to continue to explore our creative side and then put it together in unique ways so that the rest of the diaspora can really understand exactly what we have, and hopefully everybody enjoys it. I mean, passion is art and passion is storytelling, and we as models, we help complete that story. We help give you that extra element, that extra feeling. And I really appreciate the O2N Foundation for helping us bring this together, and for showcasing that all these artists and what they have to offer. I mean, the Caribbean and our artists and our culture and everything about it is just, it's endless. It's passionate. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's colorful. It's magical. And I'm always so excited and honored to be part of things like this. And thank you, Richard, for always having me. You know, us models, we're there to help bring that extra element. We're there to help put the little sprinkle, the little sparkle, and make sure that the audience really appreciates and feels the energy and the emotion that went into a particular piece, and we leave you there feeling that you were part of the show with us. Showcasing all that that piece has to offer and all that the designer has to offer and all that that particular collection is about, whether it's about love, is sadness, sorrow, happiness, colorful Caribbean island life, comfort, whatever it is, we are there to help bring that over to you.
Really appreciated your characterization there, Janice. Very, very good. Well, next up, we have my friend, advisor, and accompanist. As the late Grand Dame of television, Hazel Ward Redmond would say affectionately about her sidekick Maurice Connor, but it's Dominic LaRoche, my right hand, designer, costumier, and an all-round production colleague. Hi, Dominic. Tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you very much, Richard. And firstly, let me say I feel extremely privileged to be a part of this chat here this evening with this amazing group of creatives who I've worked with steadfastly over the years. And it has me overwhelmed hearing some of their contributions. I grew up in a household that was very passionate about place of origin. Both my mother and father used to say, you have to love where you come from first and foremost. It's like loving yourself. And therefore, my dad, it used to be like needling it away all the time. You have to like who here. You have to like what is here. You have to have appreciation for what happens here. And that was always a part of me. And so when I started contributing out, I said, these are the elements I have to put there first. I have to have purpose and I have to have passion, those two things. And we all know whenever you want to achieve something, you have to have a very clear purpose and it must be fueled with passion. And the purpose is that I have to do something that is going to make the world pay attention to us as Caribbean people. And it has to have passion, because that I think we have instinctively within ourselves. We breathe in and exhale passion in the air. Friends would come over to my house and my dad would say, they would say, Ian, bring out something, bring out some whiskey or something, let me drink. And he could say, I have something better than that. And for sure, he would be bringing out 2 or 3 bottles of that homemade wine that he would have made himself, whether it was mango, it was cashew, it was pomsite. And he telling them, this is a real experience I given all here, I made this with my hands, this was made right here, this is no import, And he was always that way, that you have to have that sense of self-worth first about the things that conditioned you growing up from child to adult. So when Richard came to me, and everybody who knows Richard knows, is always going to be something that is overwhelming and exhilarating and pulsating. I open jaw dropping. He's an avid storyteller, and you always have all these other underpinning stories in there that are very important to his mission and vision. So when he said he needed to have these 2 garments for this little pilot, I immediately started to say, well, okay, we now started with this COVID and everybody going into a panic and a slum with lockdown and changes and constrictions and restrictions. And I say, let me just calm myself and go into this, because this, I think that this is going to be something that is going to ease whatever stresses that I could possibly be facing in the future. And I went into it and I said, I love texture, I love volume, I love silhouettes that have visual interest. And I also believe that it must be worn with effortless ease. It mustn't be complicated, And when I heard Nicole Dyer was wearing them, I was like, wow, because I know her history from us modeling together with Richard at Mannequins Image Management, and I know that she brings a kind of life to the simplest thing that is mind-boggling. So I wasn't worried about that part. So I delved into the fact that I needed to find some way of giving something new and showing, well, okay, COVID is now, and they say we're going to a new normal. So that means it's moving from old to something that is new and refreshing, a new kind of silhouette, a new kind of volume, a new kind of texture, a new kind of textile even. So I did some experimentation and I was very pleased. And I can tell you, on the day of the shooting with Stephen Dubal and his crew, it was absolutely satisfying to see Nicole just put on the garment and emit this essence of the spirit that I believe the Caribbean people possess. So I would like to say thank you, Nicole Dyer and the O2N Foundation, and thank you, Richard, for always thinking of me in these very, very sensitive moments where there is something special and unique that needs to be done. And thank you, Stephen Dubal, for always being so thorough and professional and patient with this technical process and bringing the visions to life. So thank you very much. And thank you, creatives, Krista Livey, who I worked with as well, doing styling. Thank you, Rian Romani and Heather Jones and K2K for also lending Akila Jaramuji, bringing the essence of what Caribbean accessories can be, a staple of Caribbean accessories. Thank you for all the other contributors. Thank you to the dancers, the models who gave their time and showcasing that we in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean as an extension have the most unique looking people in the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks much, Dom. I see everybody here know him. Because, some of the people that say it's Bim and Bam. When they see him, they all wear Richard. When they see you, wear Dominic. I think Nicole is back on. She wants to chime in here about our music producers. Yes, Nicole? Come on, yes?
Richard, boy, I'll tell you. I first heard the piece because remember you did the production, the pre-production. You heard the music before me. And remember the first time I heard it was when we were filming on the beach in Maracas. And when I heard the piece, I said, I have to feel it in my soul. And eventually, after hearing it, it resonated at so many different levels. And to think that Casey Phillips and these 13 producers worked on this unique piece of musical genius, I think really it is, and came together to craft this particularly for us at O2N Style 3 really speaks volume to the belief that many persons have in the quality of the product that we continue to put out. And I would be honest, I was having a little bit of conversation with you and wavering about the continued investment that we all do and looking at the output of it. But I think when you have persons coming forward and really giving of their own creative genius without asking for anything really in return, such as these producers, Casey Phillips and all of the other persons who would have come forward simply because of a belief in what we do and a belief in the product quality and a belief in the output, that speaks volumes. And that really, I think, is one of the major things that keeps us going. And that piece of music just resonates with the soul.
Wonderful, Nicole. And indeed, I can't wait to immerse myself in the fresh, gifted fusion music of Precision Production and the cluster of superlative music producers who crafted our music score for this video. I am getting a lot more excited as we get closer to the reveal. Okay, let's take it down now. We come back on set with a young talent who has parlayed his fashion sensibilities to come up with exquisite, sexy resort wear and much more. Welcome, Rian Romani.
Hi, Richard. How are you?
I remember vividly how he captivated the packed house with his scintillating swimsuits at the ballroom of the Westin Harbour Castle in Toronto at Cutting Style, a fashion extravaganza featuring Caribbean style at its best at the Pan American Games in 2015. Well, it was such an impact. We caused just such a stir with Caribbean designers. But now it's 2020. So tell me, what have you been up to now?
For the most part, I have just been really in my zone, on my own path, keeping my head down, but definitely doing the work. I'm very grateful to have the client base that I have, because I was still very much able to produce some capsule collections that were well received. I was still able to do stuff for my VIP clients, etc. Of course, I also did some charity work when COVID just hit. I donated masks, etc. I didn't post it, of course, but
Yeah.
it was definitely done. So yeah, I've just been adapting and trying to stay as focused as possible.
Okay. So tell me how you see yourself in the next 5 years. That famous question they ask people when they're on stage. What do you see for Rion Romney in 5 years' time?
Dressing Rihanna.
Ah! R, all the way.
Yeah, but I have big dreams. I wanted to take the leap next year, but because of COVID, I'll have to postpone some of those plans. But I definitely want to take Trinidad fashion as global as possible. So yeah, that's a big dream of mine, and hopefully in the next 5 years, I'll definitely be there.
Good. I also remember you at Hot Couture in St. Lucia for 2 years, and you really wowed those audiences
Yeah,
there.
that was one of my favorite shows to do with you.
Yeah, that was
For sure.
great. Thanks, Rion, for being here and being part of it. What I want to say is that I have seen Rion grow from his stunning swimsuits till he went into Monday wear, and now he's into full carnival costumes. That is what is so great. I'm very, very proud of you. Much appreciated having you here. I love how Caribbean style is influenced intrinsically by our carnivalesque infusions. Talking about the correlation between carnival and fashion, the K2K brand certainly speaks to this mutation, as it were. Vibrant, voluminous abstractions that brandish our eclectic joie de vivre. Here are Kathy and Karen Norman all the way in New York. Let's hear y'all. Y'all there? Yes.
Hi, Richard.
Hi, Richard. Thank you so much for having us.
We're so excited to be here today. You know, oh gosh, I guess we have a lot to talk about, huh?
Right.
I guess one of the first things you might be asking, what is up with the dress and where are we? Well, right now, like most people in Trinidad, we're home. And with respect to the dress, well, Richard, baby, it's cold outside. You know, and I guess Richard really brought us in just to give us a tiny, small sort of tidbit, I guess, maybe about fashion and really and truly, I guess, maybe how K2K started. You know, so I think in order for us to really do that, we need to talk about, I guess, our truth.
Correct.
Our beginnings, you know, which I think was very, very different. You know, when we jumped onto the scene, you know, people really coined us as this sort of fifth element, sort of
Weird,
avant-garde,
different.
strange kind of sort of band. You know, and when we first started, literally those sort of, I'm going to say now it's a compliment, those sort of
Feedback, sentiments.
yeah, it kind of hit us pretty hard. I'll be quite honest. We were a little embarrassed. We were a little hurt. But you know, in retrospect, 8 years later, we realized that we should have actually owned it. And let me tell you why. Richard, I'm going to tell you why. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Fifth Element, but really and truly for us, there were like 3 people that stood out. One being Bruce Willis, because
it was Bruce.
The second one, there's a crazy character by the name of Rudy.
That was Chris Tucker. He did an amazing job on that role.
And the last character in this movie is what I would coin as K2K. It was this sort of green, bluish, turquoise-ish sort of, yeah, well, she was a diva. This sort of dreadlocks that came down to the floor. She was like 7 feet tall. She sang opera. She was, wow, she was different. She was
magnanimous.
She was avant-garde.
Right.
And I say all of that to say is that in its truest form is K2K.
Correct.
And I think that is really and truly what the brand brings to the landscape. Hopefully we bring a wow. You know, we bring something that is very, very avant-garde.
Very different.
You know, and being different, there's a beauty in it. There's a uniqueness in it. And I think our masqueraders, they revel in it. You know, Katz and I laugh every year because we say that I think the K2K masqueraders or the band in general must be the only band where the whole band is like filled with section leaders.
Oh, everyone is a section leader actually in their own right.
And the costumes, they want it bigger and bigger. I mean, just now I swear to God that there's not going to be a road big enough in Trinidad and Tobago to really hold the K2K masquerader.
Right.
You know, and I say all that to say is that what we really bring, it's a different energy.
A different perspective.
A very, very different perspective. You know, at K2K, we mesh fashion and mass.
Mass and fashion.
You know, we do what Kat and I say, this sort of
meet cute.
A very awkward sort of meet cute, which is a sort of encounter between two different characters in
different worlds, Karen.
In a very, very beautiful way. And I think that is really and truly what we bring to the landscape in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, something that is very unique, something that is very avant-garde, and something that is extremely different.
You know, talking about different though, I just want to hone into 2020 specifically, because for us, and I guess for the world at large, you know, 2020 kind of marks an unprecedented time, I think, in history.
You know, we had a lot of different things that came to the fore. We had the Me Too movement, you had Black Lives Matter, you had this sort of social political unrest.
Right.
You know, but I think really and truly what it brought to the fore is that the voice of the people matters.
The voice of the people were heard.
You know, and I think more so with COVID, what Mr. COVID sort of did is that he sort of put, if you want to say, a sort of dent in people's sort of bumper. You know, and I think Mr. COVID even now thinks that he's going to sort of win over the resilience of a people.
I think, you know, to Karen's point in terms of resilience, you know, the beauty about it is that what COVID proved, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but globally, is that man is extremely resilient.
Extremely, extremely resilient. And I think the only thing COVID really did, it kind of sort of put a break. I think that it gave people an opportunity to reassess.
Correct.
To rethink.
Correct.
And to sort of re-energize and re-strategize. And that's really and truly what COVID has done for K2K. You know, I think it did it for the world at large when it really did that for K2K. It gave us an opportunity for us to really engage our masqueraders. It gave us an opportunity to speak to our masqueraders one-on-one. But for us to really realize what do they want now, what do they want in the future, and how can we engage them in such a changing environment.
You know, we spoke about reassessing the strategy of K2K. And in all honesty, there are new initiatives that are coming on board, Winky Eye. Stay tuned because we are so excited about 2021 and beyond.
You know, I think, I guess just to end that note, you know, progress is such an interesting thing because I think it doesn't necessarily start off always in the most beautiful, the most positive spot. You know, sometimes you really do find yourself like in the middle of nowhere.
But you know, interestingly enough, although it's in the middle of nowhere, sometimes you actually find yourself.
And I think, you know, nowhere is such an interesting place to be. And I say that because I think nowhere probably is in this state of limbo that we are in right now.
Right.
You know, but it really and truly is a sort of a testing ground, a sort of a crossroad that really gives you that sort of blind faith, if you want to say, to pivot forward.
Right.
You know, so I guess with all of that being said, seeing that we're talking about faith and believing and just believing in yourself, daring to dream and having that Christmas magic, we really do wish our mom and dad,
Richie Richard and the crew,
we wish all of our masqueraders, all of Trinidad, everyone that is viewing,
a very Merry Christmas.
And that was the inimitable twin sisters' great sibling partnership. Well, that brings me to a man of whom I'm very proud, the creative director, designer at the indomitable fashion brand, The Cloth. My brother, Robert Young, recipient of the prestigious Grand Master of Fashion Design at Caribbean Fashion Week in Jamaica. You have made many inroads with your, what some might want to call, iconoclastic fashion statements. What would you say is your contribution to the Caribbean fashion landscape? And what's next for your brand? Tell me, brother.
Hi, Richard. The cloth. I can't really identify what contribution the brand has made in the Caribbean. You know, I think this Best Buy just being around. I think it's 35 years next year. 35 years next year. 36. I don't know. Right, by just being around long enough, it shows that people could figure out a way to make a living from this, and they can possibly figure out how to do it differently and much better than I have done it. The COVID situation, it slowed me down. I was actually even thinking if brands will even exist in the future, if there will be important things for people to want to invest their money in. And it really impacted us hard. Our sales have been considerably less. Like, I don't want to say it's like really bad in this last period of time. But I also think trying to figure out how to sell people clothes at a time like this is it's kind of harsh. I'm not thinking about people's well-being. People have resources, minimal resources, and they have to put their attention on making sense things, like planting food and building relationships, and not we'll have a time to buy clothes again, and that will come, and I don't know what that will be. The next piece for us is working on our website. We're going to have a proper shop, full shop, and also at our location on 24 Ertig Road. There's an accent around there, by the way, I come from. 24 Ertig Road in Belmont. We are putting in a shop in the studio. So there will be a physical shop inside of there that is more permanent than the thing that we do called Desperate Gifts, which we are going to do at the around the 18th, 17th of December. But there will continue to be a permanent shop in the shop, and it's a repurposed shop. The flooring boards we repurpose, the walls we repurposing. Everything is repurposed and building the shop, so it's a recycled space. And you all are doing a good job. Thanks.
Thank you so much, dear brother. And in keeping with your unconventional savvy, it would certainly take you to pronounce the pragmatic way forward in this uncertain time of our crisis. I applaud you for your sincerity and your resilience. Our next designer seems a natural fit to the accessorizing of the cloth as she heralds indigenous practices and ornamental craft. Let's hear from Akila Jaramogi at Akila's Jewelry. Akila, you there? I know you've been waiting for a while.
Greetings, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here and just to share my journey with my line of ecological jewelry that I love doing, and I just love celebrating what I get from nature. And again, my line, Akila's Jewelry, an ecological pathway to fashion. I choose this line of jewelry because it's close to me, and I am nature, and I am part of nature, and I live and work in harmony with nature. Hence the reason why I do this line of jewelry. It's quite important to, create a brand for your product. And for me, this is what I've done. Akila's Jewelry speaks for itself. Throughout the Caribbean and even outside of the Caribbean, and at home here in Trinidad, you can truly identify Akila's Jewelry, all local, truly, Afrocentric, and most of all, see, the beauty out of the forest, using seeds and beads and wood and bone and pods. That's what represents my line, and it's all sustainable use of natural material that truly represent Trinidad and Tobago, but again, with that Afrocentric touch. So within this time, I choose, to stick with my line, even though things are a bit slow because of COVID, because of the pandemic. But again, being resilient, being who I am, taking situations and making it into opportunities. So for me in this time, I am really, really, appreciating what I do and appreciating my line and appreciating the network that works around me, the different artisans and artists and designers and creators that work around me, and I working with them, sharing my line of jewelry in all different areas. So I give thanks to this moment, and I give thanks for doing what I do and having the support of all my beautiful people who use the line, who value the line in terms of, showcasing Trinidad and fashion. So again, I give thanks.
Thanks a million for always keeping it real and celebrating our Caribbean aesthetic. At this juncture, I want to call on an exemplary protege of mine, Miss World Caribbean 2019, Tiajane Remy, to give her take. Hello there, my lovely. She was really part and very influential in O2N Style 2020 this year. Let's hear what you think about our contributions this year, Tiajane.
Hello, Richard. Thank you for having me. Now, it will be remiss of me to begin without firstly acknowledging those speakers who just flavored today's discourse. I see persons like Heather Jones and so many other dynamic creatives, designers, entrepreneurs. You all contributed to setting the foundation for our featured presentation. It's my pleasure to be a part of O2N Style 2020 Mouth Open Tory Jump Out. It has encouraged me to reflect even more on this Tobagonian proverb, and it suggests that if someone is forced to or encouraged to speak, he or she often says more than is expected. Is this freedom, this liberation that partly underpins what my mentor Richard Young has coined as the Caribbean aesthetic? It was evident in the creative direction of O2N Style pre-recorded collaboration of designer display. The way that dance and music and theatre modeling was scrupulously infused and layered on the shores of Moruga was quintessential to the representation of who we are as a people. And if that production was not enough, it was my privilege to co-host just a few weeks ago the Creative Conversation. This panel discussion bolstered the definition of what we know as the Caribbean aesthetic. We saw how storytelling could be merchandised as panelists shared their narratives, which became a clear reflection of our evolution in the creative space. Testimonies of growth from the past, or resilience in the midst of this present pandemic, and the fostering of discussion for the need for a collaborative effort in bridging the gaps and creating a more promising and sustainable future for our region's culture. This to me is the true conjuring of Mouth Open Tory Jump Out. So as we get ready for a much anticipated featured presentation, let us remember that we are all responsible for preserving and the promotion of this treasure. I'm sending plenty loves and light your way. Be safe and let's get ready for this experience.
Mwah. Love you to life. That's what we say in the Miss World Trinidad and Tobago thing. I'm so certainly proud of what you have done. We are at that point where we are ready to showcase our story. But I want to especially applaud the excellence and commitment of our producer-director at OMG Media, Stephen Dubal. Without his prowess, the story I crafted would not have borne fruit. This story of intersectionality manifests figuratively where the river meets the sea, and new possibilities are bound towards a new horizon. Our mission at O2N this year was to look towards the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development in 2021, with a view to encouraging design thinking, reimagining our creative entrepreneurial footprint, pivoting as it were, particularly coming out of the overshadowing of the pandemic. And so, we aptly coined the mission Creative Economy in Transition Towards a New Horizon to steer our thrust. Mouth Open Tory Jump Out is our colloquial expression of strategy at this critical time. Nicole, it's time, girl. Are you there? You do the honors.
So very excited. This has been months in planning, and there's so many elements would have come together to produce this, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, the not sure, the coming together, the breaking apart, and all of that adds to the excitement that is mouth open, Tory jump out.
Just as the estuary symbolizes the meeting place of promise, where the river meets the sea, where the fresh waters fraternize with the salt waters, where conquistadors seeking fame and glory decimated the native livelihood, Shark River embodies the limbo of our creative ego, where Kairi became La Trinidad, and imperialist expansion crossed the line and disrespected the sanctity of a tidal wave. Laloon can attest, we bust the mark. forges our truth, our Caribbean aesthetic. Just as the mouth of the river opens onto the oceans, a new story jumps out desirous of chasing an unreachable horizon. Mouth open, Tory jump out. I am very proud of the work that we have all done because it's a collaborative thing. Thanks wonderfully for having Heather Jones, Crystal Ivy for styling, those spectacular swimsuits, Rian Romney, and all of the other contributors who came on virtually. And thanks you, audience, for viewing and appreciating our creative genius through our fashion images. And look out for O2N Style 2021.